Hi everyone, welcome to Every Bird Group Ranked. This is BioBush. My name is Steve. I take care of birds for a living, and I'm here with Backyard Expeditions, who now also takes care of birds at a professional aviary. Congratulations. Both of us are giant bird nerds, and we have decided to go through and rank every single bird group in existence, except not the extinct ones, just there's plenty that exist already. There's over 10,000 species of birds in almost 50 groups, and we're going to go through all of them. The way it's going to work is we're going to have 5 stars to award to each of the different bird groups. The different stars are available for bird group diversity, which is either having a large number of birds or a large number of species. Fame is would most people remember to include this bird in a list of birds. Amazing means they have some impressive trait of some kind. Intriguing means they might be amazing, but do you want to learn more about them? And beautiful, which is completely subjective, and it's just like, is this bird pretty? Are you ready to go, John?
Yep.
Awesome. Oh, I should just plug Backyard Expeditions at this point because you do a good job over there. Backyard Expeditions is all about connecting people with the nature that they find in their own backyards. And it turns out conveniently that everywhere on Earth is somebody's backyard. So he ends up traveling across the world sometimes. But he also just introduces you to species that you can go out in your own backyard and find. Okay, so let's start with our first bird group. You're going to have to forgive my pronunciation, or if you know, John, you're going to have to correct me because I've only seen these words written before, so I might say them wrong. Sorry. So, Caprimulgiformes. Sound
Yeah,
good?
Caprimulgiformes. Yeah.
Caprimulgiformes? All right. And that is the Nightjars. There's 122 different species of Nightjars in the world. Here's one of them. The famous members of the Caprimulgiformes, though famous is kind of a stretch, Nightjars, oilbirds, and potus. Have you ever heard of any of those?
Yeah. I'm just there. I was thinking about this. The whippoorwill is reasonably famous. I think people in the eastern U.S. at and probably in Canada, since they are in Canada too, I believe, should kind of be familiar with that as sort of a summer call. And I hear it. I've heard it in like as an ambient in like video games or movies and stuff.
Okay,
It's just sort of a night sound.
so I wrote up a little couple of sentences that describe some facts about the Caprimulgiformes, so that we can just have a common basis. They're found on every continent except Antarctica, so you probably have one living near you. Caprimulgiformes are nocturnal, small birds that mostly eat insects, using their whiskers to sense food. Oilbirds use echolocation to navigate in very dark caves. And as far as I know, they're the only birds that do that.
I was looking. There's a couple cave-dwelling swifts.
So let's go through our 5 different stars. We have diversity. There's 122 species of nightjars. There's like 4 or 5 different groups. Is that enough for a diversity star from you?
Oh no, you got Putus, owlet nightjars, which nobody's heard of an owlet nightjar.
Mm-hmm.
Regular nightjars,
Mm-hmm.
nighthawks,
I haven't heard of
um,
that.
oilbirds. That's like five. That I can kind of. I think there's a couple more, but yeah, they're weird.
Okay.
Not yeah.
So they're not
I don't know if that's enough.
famous. I think we can answer that one now, which is like
Yeah,
nobody's going to remember to include. If you just went to a person on the street and you were like, list off every single bird that you know, they're not going to remember the owlet nightjar on that list.
yeah,
Even the whippoorwill, which people might have experienced before, they're still not going to remember that one.
yeah. They're not gonna put it in a list.
Okay. Okay, so not famous. That's one down. Are they actually diverse, though?
We'll like okay if it's like a reasonable number. Like if it's only like three or four different groups, we'll say no. But if it's above that,
Okay,
just
that's
say
good to
yeah,
know.
sure, good.
All right, so you have to hit at least 5 different groups to count as a lot of groups. That's good to know. Okay, so it does have a diversity star. It does not have a fame star. Is this group amazing? Does it have some impressive trait?
I mean, the echolocation
Yeah,
is a pretty neat
that is pretty
trick.
cool, especially because it's like completely separately derived from any other echolocation.
Yeah. And then finally, what the craziest thing about them is there are a handful of species that decided, hey, instead of having fancy tail feathers, let's just make our wings crazy. So there's a handful of species that have these extremely long flight feathers that
Uh-huh.
are completely for display and useless. There's the
That's
standard winged
uh-huh.
and the pennant winged nightjar. Yeah, and
Hmm.
they're just like they're terrible for flying, I'm sure. It just looks ridiculous, but it's like no other bird really goes for the whole, hey, let's mess with how we fly so that we can look pretty.
Awesome. Okay, so A, that was amazing, and B, I now want to know much more about this species, like this group of birds, because I've never heard of that before. That's so cool.
I have a picture of one, so I can send it so you can post
Okay.
it in post. So
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, please send that over. I'll put it right here. Okay. And we have one more. Is this bird beautiful?
I love camouflage birds, and then yeah, I would say like a pennant wing nightjar is a incredibly beautiful bird. But that should be up to you. Like they are brown.
Yeah, the camouflage is very handsome on them. I definitely like the different shades of brown. I kind of feel like including the behavior of just kind of like sitting still and kind of like squinting and hunching, that combined together with the camouflage, they're good at avoiding predators, but I wouldn't give them a beauty star for that one.
Yeah. In the nature, like I can imagine if you had them like out in in like a studio setting, it'd be like, oh wow, what a beautiful bird. But
Mhm.
in a bunch of leaf litter, they're just sort of invisible.
Mm. Okay, so I think they got 3 out of 5 stars, which is a pretty good start. Our next group, Suliformes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Suliformes are cormorants. There's 61 different species. Famous members are cormorants, and the blue-footed booby is a famous tropical island bird. You can find these birds near water on lakes, rivers, and islands worldwide. These birds are adapted to dive into water using their long necks to grab fish. For a while, countries were fighting over islands to get access to these birds' nitrogen rich droppings. Let's go through the 5 stars. Are they
Okay.
diverse?
So that is quite a few species, but we got cormorants.
Mm-hmm.
They do have frigate birds, which is nice. You got your basically your gannets and boobies, which are just one kind of group.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you got darters, which is like four, but it's not that many.
Okay. They didn't hit the 5 that they they
I
need for a diversity
and
star.
they don't and they're not kind of over 100. They're not to that 100. I think the
Mm.
100 mark is also kind of important.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. This is we're learning about the system as we go, so this is working out well.
Making it up.
Um, Fame. Would most people remember to include any of these birds on a list of birds?
I think I'm gonna just guess that if you asked random people, they might be able to get a blue-footed booby on a list of birds.
Okay. So,
I think they should. I think the blue-footed booby gives them that.
okay, it just pushes them over the top. Like some
Yeah.
people might remember cormorants, but then some more might remember the blue-footed booby.
Yeah.
Nice. And what about their amazingness? Are they an amazing group of birds?
I think my main thing is that gannets and boobies they have these air sacs in sort of their bone structure and just under the skin that they can inflate just before impacting the water. And that is just such a cool adaptation to basically throwing yourself into the ocean at high speeds.
Mhm. Yeah, that is awesome. I remember that from I made a video about bird superpowers and the gannet just being able to smash into the water. Where if the gannet hit at the wrong angle or if it forgot to inflate the shoulder
Mhm.
sacs, it would die. And it's just
I want to
like,
go.
that's how I live.
I desperately want to go diving in one of those bait balls, and it's just like, and it because it just looks so cool when you see it in the nature films, where it's just like they're hitting it like, and they're just like, and it just all at once, all of a sudden, there's like all these birds that come in like little missiles into a fish school. It's just insane.
For the next star, are these birds intriguing? Do you
I
want to know
mean,
more?
the air sacs are cool, and then you got the whole frigate birds or the weird seabirds that can't touch the water else they drown.
What? Like, so they have to keep flying at all
Yeah,
times, or
their feathers aren't waterproof,
how do they
which
live?
is that's why they're called like the pirate birds. It's because they just steal from other seabirds
So
because
because they can't go in the
they
water
can't
to get
touch.
their own food.
Yeah, I think they can snag it off the surface, but if it's deep, they have to grab it out of another bird.
So the frigate birds, like their entire life is like the floor is lava.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Okay, I want to know more about frigate birds because I'm surprised that they can exist at all. It seems
it's
like
such
they
a
should
weird
have died.
thing.
Yeah, okay. All right, they get an intriguing star. You're very good at digging up facts that I've never heard about before. Thank you for bringing your bird nerdiness into this. Finally, are these birds beautiful? I can zoom in if it helps.
Well, I mean, that's a good-looking cormorant.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the blue-eyed shag, which is probably my favorite member of the group.
Mm-hmm.
It's an absolutely beautiful Antarctic cormorant.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is. You have some fairly nice look. There are some really pretty members of this group.
Okay. I like this one. I would give it a beauty star just for this one. And if there's
Yeah.
ones that are more beautiful, they definitely get it.
Fame, amazing, intriguing, beautiful. So four.
Wow, they got 4 stars. And they deserve it apparently because we're the ones who decide.
Yeah. This is the facts. This is the official ranking.
It's so nice that the world picked us out of all the people to decide how many stars to give the various birds.
Mhm.
The next group, we talked about it a little bit earlier, Apodiformes, the hummingbirds and allies. They have 480 species, which is impressive all by itself. And the most famous members are hummingbirds, obviously, and swifts are also in the same group. They get their name because their feet are rather small because they spend their time flying around a lot. And so in the old days when they were naming birds, there was a legend that they had no feet at all and they just never landed. The second most diverse group of birds in the world, these birds are amazing flyers. They have little itty bitty feet to help them perch in between adept acrobatic flights. They all eat insects, and hummingbirds are specialized to drink flower nectar. The different stars, there's diversity. We have 480 species.
Hummingbirds are broadly broken down into your basic hummingbirds and hermits, and then you got swifts, swiftlets. I think so there's like four major
Mhm.
group classifications, but you also have 450 to consider. So I don't know. It's like
Um,
it is second only diverse.
yeah,
So
I would feel like if number 2 on the diversity scale can't get the diversity star, then the scale is a little bit, needs a bit of tuning.
well, half the birds are in one order. So
Mm. I've never heard of hermits before. What are hermits?
they're special little hummingbirds. They generally, I'm trying to think, the ones I've encountered have curved bills,
Oh,
but
okay. Are they like sunbirds? No, those are passerines.
yeah, but they have the curved bill like a sunbird.
Interesting. Would people remember to include hummingbirds on a list of birds?
I think they're going to be one of the more after, they're going to be up there with most, they're going to be on the list.
Yeah. I feel like when people are writing their list, that a hummingbird is going to fly by and eat some nectar out of a flower because it's got to
Those are
hit.
birds, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it is diverse. It is famous. Are hummingbirds amazing?
I mean, if any bird was amazing, it'd be a hummingbird or a swift. Actually, because hummingbirds have the crazy metabolism.
Hmm.
They also create lift with two phases of a wing beat, which is like an insect than other birds, which is
Right.
just crazy. And then swifts, which nobody talks about enough, are the most air adapted birds on the planet. With they like eat, drink, sleep, and they'll even mate on the wing. So
Really? Wow. So they're just flying all the time and they never stop?
except to lay eggs, they're the most
Wow. If they ever figure out how to carry their eggs with them, then they'll just never need to land.
exactly.
Okay, that's pretty amazing. Uh, are hummingbirds intriguing? Do you feel like you know everything about them now, or do you want to know more about them?
I have certainly gained a lot more knowledge, but that's kind of my thing in sort of doing any sort of scientific research. It's like there are so many holes in our knowledge of everything. I mean,
Okay,
part of it's like,
and hummingbirds are probably a source where it's like if you looked there, you would find some very interesting additional facts about them.
yeah, and Swifts too. That's like the dream would be to build like little tiny brain scanners so you could like see what's going on in a Swift brain. But that would be like such a tiny piece of technology.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll check back in 100 years for a follow-up video on this.
Follow-up video.
Yeah. And finally, are hummingbirds beautiful?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about this. I think everybody would include hummingbirds on a list of beautiful birds.
Marvelous spatial tail.
Yeah, right? And then, but even just like, this is a quote unquote normal hummingbird, and it's still really pretty.
Yeah, I mean the ruby throats or any of the ones that I have out in the western U.S. are just stunning.
Mm-hmm. Those iridescent feathers. Uh,
Hmm.
all right. Well, hummingbirds, first 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
They're the pinnacle of birdness, according to our scale. Speaking of the pinnacle of birdness, let's move on to the largest birds in the world. Oh no, the Struthioniformes.
That sounds right.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay. There are exactly two species in the Struthioniformes, which is two species of ostriches, and one is pretty rare, and one is the one that everybody thinks of when they think of ostriches.
Hmm.
Uh, this group used to have more birds in it, but now it's just ostriches. Ostriches are pretty amazing, though. They're the largest bird in the world, lay the largest eggs, have the largest eyes of any land animal, and they are big, fast running birds. Are they diverse?
You have two ostriches. It's now.
Yeah, like literally two species, and they're both called ostriches. Yeah, okay. This is the
Mhm.
opposite of diversity. Uh, fame. Are they famous?
They're gonna be on that list
Mm-hmm.
of birds. I would say there's four flightless birds that people are going to think of when you say flightless bird, and ostrich is one of them.
Mm-hmm. I would say ostrich is like the first one people would think of. Also,
Yeah,
no. Which one do you think?
I think penguins are
Oh,
just,
okay.
but people might for a second like not think of penguins as birds
Mm-hmm.
because penguins are like so weird.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Okay. So, but ostriches are famous enough to get the Fame Star. Congratulations to them. Are they amazing?
I don't know, largest living bird,
Yeah, that's true.
pretty amazing. They have weird feet.
Mm-hmm. They have 2 toes
It's
instead of 4.
it's a almost like it's sort of almost like it's almost like hoof like. It's like going more like an ungulate. It's birds do ungulates.
Okay, so I've got this concept for a bird. Okay, so it's a bird, but it's a running, grazing animal. What do you say?
Yeah, it's a bird, but it's also a horse.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, okay. They're amazing. They can be amazing. And intriguing. Would you like to know more about ostriches?
There is a little bit more, but that's the other thing is like ostriches are like they don't fly and they run fast, and then they
Mhm.
have like a weird mating system, but
Right.
it's not exclusive. Rheaforms and Rheaformes and emus have the same
Mm.
basic system, so it's not like unique
And
to
in
them.
general, that's where they have a communal nest and they lay like 60 eggs in one nest. And so it looks like
And then,
one
yeah,
poor ostrich mother is taking care of 60
but it's the
babies.
father, the father.
Oh, okay, the father. See, I need to learn more.
One poor ostrich daddy.
um, okay, so if we explored into ostrich biology more, would we find more interesting things, or are they just kind of summed up by big, fast running birds?
There are a few things, but they're all kind of adaptations to lead to big, fast running birds.
Okay. I mean, we're gonna err on the side of over giving the intriguing star, so let's just not give it this time. Are these beautiful birds?
Oh no, what do you think?
They are. They have hairless legs or featherless legs, featherless necks. They look kind of mad. The babies are very cute,
That
but
is
I,
true.
I would not describe. They're probably majestic when they're running, and there's a beauty in that. But if they're just like pecking around, I don't think the adults are beautiful per se.
The other species, the Somali ostrich, I would say is a rather stunning bird. It has these bright blue heads and necks and legs
Oh,
with
interesting.
the I but it's one of those things, it's like if I saw it from a distance, it's like, oh, what a majestic, beautiful animal. But then like get a little too close to ostriches. They have yeah, they have some features that's like it's a weird looking bird.
Okay, so we don't have to give the ostrich the beauty star. It's okay. They're beautiful in their own way, but this ranking system is considering every bird in existence, and they're not in the top half of beautiful birds. All right. So they got 2 stars out of 5. Moving on to our next group of flightless birds,
Got it.
we have the Rheaformes. There are 2 species of rhea, the greater and lesser rhea, but every species of rhea are flightless running birds native to South America. When threatened, they run in a zigzag pattern, using their wings to turn quickly, and their nests have up to 60 eggs laid by different females, which is something we've just talked about as being common among all the ratites, all the ostrichy birds. All right, what do we got? Just diversity star, 2 species,
Mm,
one. No, okay. Famous.
mm. I'm feeling really bad because I love Reyes, but uh
They're not. They're famous to John, but not to everyone else.
yeah.
Um, are Rheas amazing?
Again, it's the egg thing is cool, but it's not mutually exclusive, and we didn't give it to the ostrich.
Hmm. Okay, so no stars there. Are Rheas intriguing? Do you want to know more about them?
Uh, again, I for some reason these I just find I don't know. It's I love big flightless birds, but they're I don't they don't seem that interesting to me. I
Okay.
don't know what it is.
Oh, that's fine. And like we're 2 pretty nerdy bird people, and if we're like, I don't know, there's more interesting birds out there. That is not a good sign for the Rhea. Finally, let's move on to beautiful. They are a little bit different than the ostrich, so it's worth reconsidering. But are they beautiful?
I think that an adult ray is significantly cuter. They've
Hmm.
got like the bigger eyes and
Hmm.
stuff, but and the fully feathered head, but
Hmm.
they don't even they where I was like even the ostrich considering it's like it's those bold black and white patterns. They're kind of gray.
Hmm.
These large gray birds.
Oh no, they didn't get any of the stars. And you like them, but they just didn't hit any of these criteria. That's
Yeah.
very sad. We can appreciate the Reyes in other ways, but they are the first 0 star bird group. I didn't even think that was possible. I wrote it down as rate all the groups on 1 to 5 stars. Oh, poor Reyes.
I think a couple are gonna make it.
Okay. Let's move
But
on to the cassowaries, they're in the group Cassowaries. Does that sound good?
that sounds probably the best way one could pronounce it because it's such a strange way
Oh,
of
it's got two
saying this.
eyes. Cassowariiformes?
Something like that. It's
Okay, well,
like
we
somebody
try our
tried to turn the
best.
word cassowary into a Latin word, and it
Right.
just sounds weird.
There are four species in the Cassowariiformes, and the famous members, which there's kind of only two, and they're both pretty famous, which are cassowaries and emus. Viewers from Australia taught me that it's not pronounced emu, it's emu.
Emu.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Four species of cassowary and one species of emu make up Cassowariiformes, an order of flightless birds native to Australia and some Pacific islands. They lay giant, bright green eggs that look like avocados, and the birds themselves look, to varying degrees, like dinosaurs.
It's an accurate depiction or description.
Thank you. Are these birds diverse? There's only 5 species and there's only 2 types of birds, so no, not diverse. Are they
Hmm.
famous?
Yeah, they're on that list. Is most people emus are pretty famous, and then cassowaries have this whole pop culture thing of them being these vicious, aggressive creatures, which I did look into because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and it's as you it's I think there's less than 200 reported cases of them attacking people,
Mm.
and it's mostly over food. Like people feed them,
Oh,
and then the
okay.
cassowary wants the food and like chases people down.
Yeah, so between the two of them, people are going to remember one or the other on their list.
Mm.
So we can call them famous. That's great. And are they amazing? I know they have, so cassowaries have the middle toenail that's like 9 centimeters long,
Oh yeah,
like
that's
that long.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think they use it for defense also. I think they're herbivores primarily. They just use it to protect themselves.
Hmm. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Okay. Are they amazing though?
I don't know.
Not so much. Okay. No worries. That's fine. We don't have to give all the stars. And intriguing. Would you like to know more about these birds?
It would be cool to know, I mean, some behavior stuff, but
That's it. They're just like, yeah, give me a Wikipedia article. I'm set. Like, that's mostly what I want to know about the birds.
yeah,
Okay. Yep, so we don't have to give intriguing. That's fine. Are they beautiful? Compared to the other
I'm gonna
flightless birds,
yeah.
it's not even
Cassowary is the
close.
most yeah. Cassowary is like the most colorful of this whole group
Mhm. Yeah,
of all the what is it, the paleognaths,
mhm,
which is basically all these birds that we're talking about right now,
mhm.
up to the tinamous. But yeah, I think they deserve beauty. It's a very nice looking bird.
Yeah, I agree. This video went much longer than expected, so we're actually going to break this into, I think, a 4-part series. But if you would like to know about when those future videos come out, feel free to subscribe. You should also go over to Backyard Expedition. Am I pointing the right? Backyard
Yeah,
Expeditions channel. I am always
just put it
watching
right
his
here.
videos, and every week I'm learning something new and amazing about animals. So go to the little icon that he's holding and subscribe over there. Thanks for stopping by this week to learn what makes life awesome. But would people remember to include hummingbirds on a list of hummingbirds?
I hope so. But
Oh my
yeah, they should be a
gosh.
pretty
Okay.